What's up? Oh, shit, man.
Morning.
Morning, Matt. What's up, buddy? We're rocking them Ducos. Beep, beep, beep. As you can see, Weller's on hiatus, and I want to say what's up to David and Sarah Weller now. They got hitched. They're all married up.
Official.
It's official, yeah. Now he's tax-wise, he's going to be better off, dude.
Congratulations.
Life-wise, they're good people, man. Had a good time, good dinner last night. Ceremony was cool. Got to see some old friends. Kick it with Josh, Weller's brother.
Awesome.
Did some good gambling. I lost like $800.
Oh, man.
Sucks, man. But I always think, like, I could have bought some fucking clothes, or I could have paid car insurance, or did some other shit. But
lots of things. Bought tires, whatever.
man, and I wasn't doing that bad. It's just that I got where I was playing like $200 hands of blackjack, and you lose 3 of those in a row, there's $600, dude.
But you came up, you said.
Yeah, I came up and fucking. I only played for a couple hours. Went 8 and then played for a couple hours. Did the wedding.
Drank for free.
No, I think I had.
It was $800. You said.
Three beers for $800, dude. That's the way it works, man. But we got Matt Siegelkoff sitting in David's chair today, so we're gonna crush out a show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's do some what's ups, man. So, what's up to Patty Moreno? What's up to Debbie Carlson? Lark Honea. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Again, what's up to David and Sarah? What's up to Michelle Searcy, Emmeline Rodriguez, Tony Arredondo, and then go ahead and close it out, man. We'll do our. There we go. Our special guest shout out this week goes to all the guys out there that put in the extra time on the weekends after work to referee. You know, basketball games, volleyball games, baseball games, football, whatever it is, man. I've done it myself. I don't know if you've done it or not, but
I actually had to stand in one time for a baseball game that my son was in. And, of course, I didn't have any of the equipment, and I actually took a pitch off my shin. Oh. And I stood there as manly as I could without letting anybody know how bad I really hurt. But it was like...
bruised for 3 weeks later.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you know, like yesterday, my girlfriend's son had a basketball game. Zane was their coach or referee.
What's up to Zane Nemo?
Zane Nemo. And I know he's been doing that for a while, and it's just tough because you hear all the parents every time, you know, it's like they see something different. And
that's it. And, you know, I had done it to get into it before my kids started playing sports, because my kids were like 4 and 5 years old, and I wanted to be a ref and get all the rules and all that shit down, because you played as a player, but it's different as a referee. You know?
Absolutely.
And that was part of my reason for doing it. But I got paid like $33 a game, and this was back in like, man, 98 or 99.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know what the wage is now for it, but I got paid per game. So if I did 3 games, I made like $100. I got a free hot dog and a soda after each game, dude. Fucking, it was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
Plus, I was doing games, but in the morning, you know, start at 7. Got a game at 8. Got a game at 9. So by 10 o'clock, I'm done with 3 games. Come home. My family's just barely waking up on the weekend.
Right, and you get to see a lot of good talent and good games, right? I mean, it's where you get to see the kids that are really like, you're like, oh my goodness, this kid's come along. You can tell because you coach them from one game to another, you know, year after year.
Or yeah, if you're there for years, or like you were saying, you know, that kid that you're talking about where he said, this is a lot of kids. This is their last game because they're in 8th grade. They're not going to play rec sports in high school.
In high school, yeah.
You know?
And that's, you know, that's a realization that you come to. I mean, every one of us, like I knew when I was in high school, this is my last game or this was my last wrestling match, like, because I wasn't going on to do it in college. Yeah. I didn't want to, you know. Because it's such a dedication. You've already been doing that, and I knew I didn't want to do that. So
see, I played baseball till I was 30, man. CalMex, traveling league, all that shit, and it was cool traveling. But that was what killed me, was the expenses, man.
Oh, you bet. Well, yeah, because you're not getting paid to do it.
No, it's expensive. You go spend a weekend in Arizona, and it's like $1,500 to play baseball, dude. It's too much, dude. But we'll close odds out to all the refs, umpires, all you guys out there. What's up?
Thank you.
And then what we start out with, man? How about renewal in people?
Yeah, good deeds.
Yeah, man. Because just when you think everybody's an asshole or they're jerk faces, right? I was telling you that, like, I was driving down to Stockton. I was going to go get some shoes and stuff for the wedding. And I encountered, like, 3 people that drive like fucking assholes, you know, and I just fucking hate people. Even in the parking lot, like, oh, I just fucking hate them, dude. But I had a couple bags. I was in Dillard's, had a couple bags. I was looking at some shirts and shit. And then went and looked at some pants. And then I looked at some more shirts. And I realized I had put one of my bags that I already paid for from, like, the van store was down on the ground. Somewhere in the store. I didn't know where the fuck it was. Man. Yeah, so I'm running around with my fucking chicken. And, you know,
security.
And they're all fucking looking at me like, why is this guy running in the store and shit, you know? But it's Stockton, too, so, you know, you think if you leave some shit like that, it's fucking gone. But,
right, I mean...
Right? Like,
it's gone.
It's gone, dude. So I right where I first tried on the first shirt and shit, there's my bag sitting there, and there's 3 or 4 other people right around it, but none of them picked it up.
Right.
They very easily could have picked it up and took off with it, no problem. But
right, just walked off.
I just had, like, man, I don't know if that's karma or whatever it is, but fucking, I was like, maybe I was just thinking bad of people. I just have that in my head, like, somebody's going to steal it. That's, you know what I'm saying?
Well, because that's normally what's going to happen. But luckily, how I think is... you do good deeds. You're not that person, right? Yeah. If you steal that, that's stolen from you.
Yeah.
So if you're not that kind of person, hopefully that happens for you as far as somebody is good and actually turns it in. I went to a gas station, Chevron, off of Hazel and 50, and I pulled up there. Dude, there's a fucking purse sitting right there on the gas pump. And I'm on my company truck, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I pull it out, and I feel bad just even looking in it to find a driver's license or something to just be like... Identify it. And then the worst thing was, I went and turned it in to the lady at the, the attendant, and I'm thinking, how do I know that they're not going to fucking steal everything out of it? You know,
right.
like... And so I just turned it in, and I was like, okay, you did what you were supposed to do.
The best thing you could do.
I don't have this lady's number, although, like, nowadays, you could probably look them up, and just be like,
Google,
connect,
Facebook, whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Messenger.
There's a way to contact people like that now instantly. So it's like, that wasn't available back then. That was in 2008 or something.
And I'm telling you, so I'm in the same store. I go up to pay for my shit, right? And while I'm paying, this guy comes up and he brings up a woman's wallet that's about like yay big, right? And he gives it to the lady, and she says, "Oh, you know what happens all the time and this and that." She opens it up, and there's fucking money in there, and there's like $800.
Damn.
I seen them; they're all hundreds, fucking. And I was like, dude, this guy could have very easily just fucking
car payment,
took the money, fucking $800 is a little game changer.
Oh, you bet.
I mean,
that's a brand new couch.
That's why I felt so bad losing it yesterday. It's a game changer.
It's a game changer. You'd be like, I didn't lose anything. I just found a wallet.
Could have went to fucking Disneyland or done something cool, but the guy fucking turned it in, and then the lady behind the thing, I know she just opened it to see who it is so she can announce, hey, we got your purse at this check stand or whatever, but it helped me renew my faith in people, man.
Yeah.
They're not all bad people out there. There's some fucking good people still.
Dude,
man.
It's 50-50, but you only hear about the bad stories, right?
Yeah.
So, but really, like, I run into it all the time, and I'm like, okay, look at that. I see that, like, when you acknowledge or see it happening, and, like, somebody witnessed all of what you just saw, or guy turning the wallet. Somebody witnessed that, and it changed their day and their mindset, and that's infectious, hopefully.
No, it's very easy to do it, man. Just be courteous, and like you're saying, maybe hold the door open for people,
Absolutely. I mean, it changes people. Like, when I open the door for somebody and they don't say thank you or don't acknowledge that, they just walk in. It's like, I kind of like, okay, are you shy or are you just ungrateful? Like, or do you think that you're just entitled? Like,
see, I picked this up from Weller because I'm used to going down the halls and saying hi to people at work in the office. Well, they don't really talk. They're not like outside workers.
Right.
They just pass each other in the hall. So he told me just say what's up to them. I said, do I say what's up? And when they don't answer but go, yeah, fine, I'm having a good day. You talk to yourself.
So I do that too. And so when I open the door and they go in, and I'll be like, oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Like they said thank you and just proceed, and it doesn't bother me really, but it's like, I appreciate that, and I do that, and I hope other people do this stuff like that too. And I like guys will hold doors open for other guys. It's like if you're there first, whatever convenience, and like when I go to Chipotle or something, and I open the door and they walk in, they'll still let me go in line in front of them
because you were holding the door.
Because I held the door for them. You know, it's like it's and courtesy. Then also, you know what's something strange, and I don't necessarily want this to get out to everybody. When you open doors. I always grab the bottom corner because if you notice, all the doors are worn in a certain place. Yeah. And to get away from like flus and all
that's why I wash my hands before I pee.
Before
I pee, I wash my hands, dude. You know what I mean?
To keep your...
Well, my hands are used to touching germs and shit, but my dick ain't used to touching germs.
Right, but that way your lady doesn't get sick?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She get the coronavirus from my dick or something, dude? I don't know.
Right? I survived the 80s, so that's AIDS, Ebola, you name it all, right?
Well, we'll get on that topic, dude. It's fucking that media hype shit, but let's go ahead and close out renewal and people, man. So what do you want to talk about, man? How about being hyped?
Oh man, like adrenaline and getting hyped, yeah.
For not just people, but like you're saying kids, like championship. This is what happened in golf. All the rec stuff happened this weekend for championships in baseball. So all our friends and their kids and stuff just went through all this stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, when you approach a kid after a game like that, regardless they win or lose, they're going to say or do whatever because they're just like, they have adrenaline. They've been thinking about this more than anything. And they're
the championship game, dude.
And they're immature or coming into maturity. And so it's like you can't blame a kid for, like, if he just blew somebody off or if he did this or that or just said something that was out of normal. Yeah. Because really, you got to think of all that emotion that's inside of them, regardless. It could be exciting. It could be depression because maybe they won or lost, depending on where it was. But really, that kid he's thinking about that in his head. If anybody that's played athletics or been involved in any kind of competition, say, you're focused on that. Yeah. And when you win or lose, you're thinking about that game still. Like that's still in your mind. You're replaying everything.
I could have made this pass or I could have done that tackle. I shouldn't have swung at that pitch.
Right.
I should have took the open shot. You got all that shit going on in your head.
Especially
if you made a foul or you made a fuck up, man, you can carry that shit with you for a long time.
Years. Yeah. You could carry it for years. It could develop your game, and like maybe that's why, and this is why competitive people, if it's basketball, they're out there shooting hoops every day afterwards, replaying that game in their mind. They're replaying that one moment and trying to fix it because they don't want it to happen again. So there's a lot of adrenaline that goes into that. And when you take somebody after a moment like that, regardless of his kid, I mean, look at Richard Sherman after the Super Bowl, right? Going off and yelling. He's a highly educated guy, and I guarantee he would put together, just like he has recently, a better statement for what he wanted to make. Yeah. But right then he was so hyped, just going crazy. And then now you look at him, you listen to him, and he's also 49er now, so that's cool.
Yeah, man, but it's true. You get caught in the moment. That's what it is. You're caught up in the moment, whether it's negative or positive. So as a parent, you got to realize that with your kids,
Yeah, you can't hold that against them.
Your kid's been fucking thinking about the championship game all fucking week long, all season long. Because they were good enough to make it to the championships. And then all of his hopes and dreams got fucking crushed in the last half an hour when he just died. I mean, all his hopes and dreams died. And
until he gets to play again.
Yeah, or if he ever gets to play again,
Right.
But you can't just take him, like you said, right now, like fucking you got to have an adjustment period after the loss or after even a celebration, that kind of stuff. Because if they win and they're crazy and they're all fucking, yeah, we are the champion, we're the best, all that shit.
And they could get an attitude like, oh yeah, I'm the best in the world now, and I'm gonna go out there and show everybody up. But
you just gotta let them get off their horse, because they're on their horse, and that's what it is. But disciplining the kid or getting mad at them or that kind of shit, I don't think that's a time for it right there.
Right, you got to be a little patient with them at that point. So that was something that I had recognized, and I was thinking, man, you really have to be, because I just put myself in that, and I was like, if I was in that spot, I'm not hearing any words you're saying to me right now. I'm thinking about that game still, and all you're doing is pissing me off.
Yeah.
So,
Trying to be a concerned parent, but you're just actually fucking picking the scab, man.
picking the scat. There you go.
And then you have those parents that live vicariously through their kids, like
Yes.
especially the ones that didn't play sports when they were in school, but now their kids play sports, and it's like they are playing the sport because their kids playing the sport.
Yes.
So now they're all super educated and fucking top-notch thinker about all the strategies, game plans, what the coach should be doing, and all that kind of stuff, But they have no experience.
But right. Well, I could tell you with my son playing sports, luckily he played football and wrestled just like I did. And the one thing he did do that I got second in league, so I wasn't, didn't get that all-league patch. But he actually won his match his senior year and was all league. So that was like,
badass.
Yeah. So for me, it was like amazing. And that was something that, so I lived through him through all those things. And let me tell you, it was tough not to, I fought myself every time not to just try to, be on top of him or like telling him stuff, this and that, because you're a parent and you're like, see things. And the more I stood back and the older he got, the better off it went, because I would just be like, hey, you did great. Point out the positive things, but don't try to pick out anything, because when you come out of that match, it's a battle. It's like you're worked up, and the first thing you're not done fighting.
Yeah, you don't want to hear negative shit because you're going to fucking battle it.
You want to fight, yeah.
I'm 46 coming next month, dude. I'll be 46, and I play pool with my dad every Wednesday.
March?
In April.
Okay.
It's March already.
Oh, that's right. Leap year. Damn.
One point in time, it was me, my dad, and my sister were on the same pool team. We made it to the playoffs, but my dad is consistently on my sister, in her ear. Part of it's because she's a woman, and my dad comes from that old school, like, women can't do things as good as men. They're not. That's just their old mentality. And he was getting in her ear so much that she said, Dad, you fucking say one more thing, I'm going to break my stick, and we're going to forfeit. Sure as shit he did. And sure as shit she did. She forfeited and broke the match. So now we're tied. I'm up to play next. And my dad's getting into my ear about shit. And I'm like, Dad, I will fucking break my stick, and we're going to have to forfeit, dude.
Did he learn?
He didn't fucking learn, dude. He doubled it up on me. After getting the shit from her, he doubled it up on me. I broke the stick. We forfeited. That's a game over match. We're out of it.
We're done.
So now me, him, and her got to ride home together in the same car, dude.
Yeah.
And
Who rode in front?
Oh,
Who
my
drove?
God, dude. I was driving. Him and her, passenger seat, back seat, cussing, fucking pull the car over. I'll kick his fucking ass,
Right.
Oh, my God, dude. Worst car ride home ever, dude.
Oh, man.
But
good times.
That's the type of intensity, the adrenaline, that stuff, that competitive nature you have when you're in an event. You're out of character because you're fucking.
You get worked up.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do to compete, but you can't just flip it off like a switch.
No, and here you have a good example. A 70-year-old man fucking lost his mind, dude.
Right.
With both of his kids, dude. I mean, we're all adults, and he's so you take that to a 12 or 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid, their emotions are turned up even more, dude.
Right. And their filters are less.
Yeah.
And they're millennials.
Yeah.
Is that what we're still calling them?
I don't know. I think millennials are done. I think there's a new group coming in now, dude.
Zentennials?
I don't know. We're fucking still Generation X, dude.
I think we should call them Trumpsters.
Yeah. Oh, come on, don't blow some minds. Let's close that fucking topic out, dude. We'll jump to another one, dude. What do we got? How about dogs, dude?
Oh, man. Dogs. Man's best friend. Oh, I just heard that one growl at me.
She's just doing her thing, dude. But so we were talking about like training dogs, right? Like
yeah,
the training of dogs has changed 180 degrees.
Absolutely.
Dude.
Everybody's like more in tune. Well, and I don't know if it's from National Geographic video or whatever, but
it's probably like, Dog Whisperer, dude.
Dog Whisperer, because that guy, I could tell you, I learned a lot from just watching his shows. But how the mentality, and then that's where I watch, like if you watch a real wolf pack out in the wild and how they act, that's how you need to be, because you got to be a pack master,
Yeah.
And
You
if
gotta
you're
be the alpha.
yeah, and I even like my dad trained dogs all my life, and he used to be more obedience as far as making them do certain things, and he never used a shock collar or anything like that, except for the ones that would try to attack animals, like if they'd try to attack the goats or something. Then you'd just buzz them, but never to really hurt them, just to get their attention, because you're not right there, and that's all you need to do. Like with my dog, when I'm walking her and I want to get her attention because she's like onto something, I just give her a little side kick right in the butt, and all of a sudden, boom, she's like, what? Her focus is back on me.
Yeah.
Hey, we're walking, we're doing whatever. And it's all in your tone of your voice.
Absolutely, yes.
And if you want to, the best thing to do with any animal you have is to put them always on top of their head and never under their chin. When you're under their chin, you're bringing them up to your level. And if you always look at that pack master in video, like live in the wild, he's always standing tall, and they're always rubbing underneath his chin, like when they're...
Yeah, you see it with lions.
Everything.
I mean, that's just a hierarchy of things.
And so when you do that to an animal, you think they believe that you're bringing them up to your level. And then that's why they stop listening to you, or they stop doing whatever. It's like my dad had multiple dogs, and I told him, well, which one's your number 2? You got to feed them in an order.
Yeah.
And I learned that from Caesar on the dog show. He's like, whatever one you feed first is number 2. And if you can confuse your dogs, and that's maybe why they'll fight, is because maybe you feed this one first and then you feed this one first, and then they're thinking, oh, we're battling now for number 2, where you can automatically delegate and be like, this is my number 2.
Yeah. And they're not going to hate you any more or less, but there is a hierarchy in dogs too, where they have an alpha, the beta, and the omega. Now, the alpha is the head dog. You got that one down, right? Mm-hmm. The beta is the one that's trying to come up and would try to, and that's the one that's most aggressive when you're going to fight a pack of dogs or have a pack of dogs.
Yeah, she's trying to show her worth.
Because the alpha's got your attention, but the beta is the one that will come from the side and bite you from behind or something. They're sneaky like that. And they'll try to take over alpha if they can.
Right.
Then you have the omega dog, which is the last dog in the pack. Don't give a fuck. Lays around most of the time. Just
eats last.
Doesn't care. It just doesn't care. Doesn't have anything to do with the fucking royalty or none of that shit. So there are 3 different types of dogs there. If you have more than a 2-dog pack.
Yeah. That's in the dogs though. They find that themselves naturally, right? I mean, they compete for it, or whoever finds the food becomes the alpha or whatever,
Well, we rescued a mastiff probably like 6 months ago. We had a mastiff for a couple months, and we thought it would be cool because we already had another big mastiff. This one was 2 years old. Our guy's going to be 12 or 13 years old, so it would be a good transition, but she was fucking alpha from the gate. Like, she tore up the little dog, she tore up the fucking Rottweiler, and then when it came to mastiff, he's like, fucking, this is my yard, bitch. And he put her down, and 4 or 5 times they fought, dude, and he put her down every fucking time.
Good.
She still wouldn't relinquish it, dude. So what she started to do is take it out on the other little dogs.
Right.
And I was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
$500 vet visit for the rot. And I was like, that's it.
Done.
Yep, she's gone.
What's funny is I had a bulldog that was like 8, and then my Rottweiler was like 4 or 5. And as they got they were younger, of course, growing up. But the bulldog was always the pack master, which was funny because the Rottweiler would win, but the bulldog would fight till it's death, basically.
Yeah,
and she was not giving up. And so it was like a constant thing, whatever they were arguing or fighting over. But that bulldog was the pack master all the way till the day she passed. And it's kind of funny to me because the other one would just get her on her back and she couldn't do anything, you know? And it's like, but that dog never gave that up. Like, that was her mindset.
And I know that's something that's going on with my dogs now is their dog pack master, the number 2, he fucking died, And I know they're kind of jostling and trying to decide.
Figure out who's going to be the new one.
Who's going to be new number 2, yeah. It's tough for them because dogs go through depression, dude. They get sad. They get happy. They get anxiety.
4th of July anxiety.
Oh, yeah, dude. The fucking thunder, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really love your animals, and they're not just... Because some animals are tools.
Right.
They're not members of the family. They're just tools. They could be used for security or for working or whatever it may be. But
well, all dogs, though, like to do something. They like to be, that's their way of contributing to the pack. So they're all working dogs. Like, they all want to do something. And even if it's just an alert dog, like, every time somebody comes to the door, I'm barking and I'm alerting. That's my job.
That's
like,
what I do, yeah.
That's what I'm supposed to do. Some of them are even more, where they're patrolling the backyard, or maybe they're out on a walk with you. But they want that, as part of them. Like, that's their desire.
That's their job, man. That's what they do. Like the healer, I have the healer. You're an animal guy, so you understand they heal what the healer does. But people that don't own dogs or come over, they're like, "Oh, that dog's gonna fucking bite me. It's gonna bite me." No, she's not gonna bite you.
She's grabbed my pant leg like 20 times walking around here today. So it was like, yeah, and once I just keep worried about my Achilles and her really like sinking in.
She's yet to bite anybody,
But she's not. She's testing you every time to see if you're okay or not. Because if you're a bad guy, you're gonna jump or you're gonna do something, and then she knows that.
Well, dogs read it too. Like if you're fearful of a dog, you're fucked.
They can read it.
The dog knows that you're fucking scared of them. So they're
bees, dogs. What was that?
Yeah, they'll take advantage of it. I don't know. Was it pheromones or was your body puts
pheromones?
Off something? Yeah. Body puts off something. They smell it and they're like, "Oh, I got this motherfucker."
Do you know that there's actually somebody did? They have a study in France that they did where bees can smell cancer off of just your breath.
Oh, I know dogs. Some dogs too, dude. I see.
So yes, they can tell. Like so when that dog's looking at you and he's like, maybe go to the doctor, because honestly, like I couldn't believe that they have that kind of sensitivity, or that's what they smell, or
they smell in the parts per million, dude. Where like we might smell in the parts per thousand, dogs are smelling in parts per million, dude.
Yeah,
it's fucking amazing. They're good creatures, dude. And then the other thing with dogs is, with discipline comes reward, and the type of discipline you use is also a big thing, man. Because I know when I was brought up having dogs, my dad or my grandpa would take the dog and rub its nose in the piss,
right?
And then kick it outside and tell it no and shit. And that's just the way that that it was. But I've yet to train one of my dogs that way at all.
Yes,
I will show them what they did. And I'll say no,
right.
Fucking raise my voice. Look at it, they jump when you raise your voice up.
Absolutely.
Like that. And just that change in tone
the attention grabber
does more than any type of physical shit you're gonna do to a dog.
Yeah.
Dude. You may be fucking pissed off at a dog for.
Yeah, it may feel better to beat up on it.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean it's right.
No, and my uncle had told me about that with the Mastiff, man. My Mastiff was 160 pounds.
Right.
That's a big fucking dog. He could have turned him.
He could have turned on you.
Turned on me anytime, dude. So I never hit that dog, And he said that's you don't fucking learn. Bulldogs are the same. You're not gonna teach a bulldog by hitting them. A pit bull, you're not gonna teach them by hitting them. You may think it's working because you're hitting them, but the dog's actually learning the trait or what you're trying to teach them through your verbalization or your visualization with hand right. signals,
Big time.
Yeah,
you got to get big. Same with bears, right? When they tell you everything, it's all about getting big and getting loud and deep or whatever and forceful.
That's what I do, dude. I'll fucking stretch my hands out, or if I'm really pissed at them, I'll stand on the bed and I'll fucking put my hands up and look really big, and they're like, "Oh, this motherfucker grew. How do you grow 4 feet?"
Right. And it's that simple, though. It's just a tone. You didn't even have to follow through. But, a funny story I remember, we had a cat, and my dad did something or whatever, and this cat was pissed at my dad. I don't like cats. Anyways, this fucking cat walked over and pissed right on my dad's shoes over on the side of the wall. Like, it knew. It was like, "Here's your shit. Watch this, motherfucker." And I saw the whole thing. And my dad walked over there and fucking grabbed that cat and rubbed its face on the side of the wall. And, it's like graded. And there was part of the eyebrow. The cat had a bald spot on it.
No.
Where he rubbed that fucker so hard into the wall. And it's funny because
I don't even know about cat training, dude.
That cat's name was E.T. after the movie.
Yeah. I don't know about cat training. The cats we had were mousers.
You can't train a fucking cat. It does whatever it wants. It's independent.
I've seen some smart fucking cats.
It doesn't need humans. Yeah. So when people end up dying in their house, the dog will sit there and starve to death sitting next to the body. The cat will fucking eat it as soon as it's hungry.
Yeah, it'll eat the body. You're right, dude. I don't know what else we got on there.
Let's close that.
All right. So we're halfway through here, dude. We got to get a good topic going, man. How about media hype?
Media hype.
Yeah, you were talking about climate change and
Climate change, media hype, and a lot of people are like buying into all this different bullshit, but climate change has been happening ever since the earth has been here. So it's not like any new thing.
I read something and this was a worldwide deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
About air and stuff, and it basically said all of man's contribution towards making the world, all the pollution, the oil, the fucking nuclear shit, the carbon dioxide we put out there, monoxide, it's like less than 2% of effect on the earth. Less than 2%, dude.
One super volcano, or one volcano like the last one that went off, they said was more pollution than all the cars and traffic that we've had in like the last 50 to 100 years.
That's right.
And one volcano.
That's right. And there are like something like 300 volcanoes that go off every day, man.
So it's like, really, or you think you're going to control it, you're stupid. You're not going to control it because the Earth's going to do whatever it wants. It only takes one earthquake, one volcano, one flood, whatever, fires, to change what happens in the world.
Well,
so
you can see where these deserts are, and they find fucking whale bones in the desert. They find sharks, stuff like that. They're in the fucking desert because that desert used to be fucking water.
Right. It used to be an ocean. It used to be a forest, something like.
Exactly, dude. And you know what? Man had nothing to do with that.
No, it's out of your control. So it's like, why spend the money worrying about trying to control it? Or because you're not going to. It only takes one of those events to change everything. So why burn that money into it? But just acknowledge and prepare and be like, okay, if we're turning into a desert, we better start storing water. And we need to build another damn dam. No pun intended.
I think what it boils down to is that it's good to have good drinking water. It's good to have clean air. And if we have the ability to make it better than what it is, I'm all for that too.
Right.
But what I'm not for is fear-mongering and telling kids now the world's not going to be here in 12 years because we drive cars.
Right. That's the bullshit. Yes.
And that's what they use to fucking push their agenda, to get money, to pay for shit. Like that whole windmill deal Obama did, right? With the windmills and shit.
Yeah, now they can't. They're trying to recycle them, but they can't.
Yeah.
They have to get rid of all these. I'm like, why get rid of them? Are we done with windmills?
And then the other thing is another with solar, man. The fucking solar
the panels.
The panels are insane. Like they won't even let them go to rot or put them in a dump landfill or something here in America. They ship them over to China, and you have these like fucking 10, 12-year-old kids tearing these things apart.
Recycling what they can.
Yeah, and they got mercury. They got fucking all kinds of bad shit these little kids are breathing in and fucking... I seen the video on it. It was bullshit, man.
Yeah, and that's where you wonder why every fucking bad virus we get, like SARS, Corona, whatever, is from China. You wonder why?
Well, that's in the mix too, man. With the fear-mongering shit is like this coronavirus that's going on, right, man? It's changing the stock market. It's changing shipping routes. It's changing people going to work or not going to work.
Right.
It's played up on the fucking television. Like I remember France just had their first 2 cases, right?
Yes.
Well, France has already had 8,000 people die of the regular flu. 8,000. That's big, dude. America's like at 20,000.
Right.
We're really fucking big compared to France. But just the normal flu virus is killing way more people than the corona. And I'm not saying I want corona or bring it on or whatever, like
but
that.
It makes a great political topic all of a sudden.
When
does. You have nothing, all of a sudden you like, oh, I'm going to reach out. This is going to be our new thing. And it's like...
It changes the narrative. It changes the story of what's going on, man. And they do use it all the time.
Yeah.
Look at like when Kavanaugh got off of his shit, right? And then he became a Supreme Court justice. They changed the fucking narrative the very next day, dude, because now they're going to try to start impeaching Trump again. There's always a constant role of what they're trying to feed you in the media.
Absolutely. I mean, they have their own agenda, and they know who's paying their bills. And so they are going to report accordingly. So
it works on both sides. Fox will run with the story. CNN runs with the story. It's the exact opposite. I mean, they fucking go both ways on it.
Yeah.
But besides being political, like this coronavirus, right? You're saying we had Ebola. We had the avian bird flu. We had SARS. We had... I don't know. There's countless diseases that have come up every 3 or 4 years. It's going to cause a zombie apocalypse,
Right.
and everybody's going to fucking die.
Panic.
Yeah, and that's what they're selling, dude. Is they're selling that fucking fear, man. And if you believe it, you're part of the hype.
And that's what's going to happen is they know that they're going to get at least however many percent of people to buy into bullshit that's going to be scared, which you should, but not at a certain, only at a certain level. You should be aware and alert, but not necessarily fear and be like, oh, I need to do this, or I need to, this was because of I didn't vote in a certain person, or because I did this, It's like, no, these things happen all the time. We've dealt with them all the time.
Yeah.
America actually does a great job. I don't care who was president each of those times, of not getting quarantining properly and not getting the virus to spread here, Because with Ebola, I think that was what, Clinton, or was that the beginning of?
Yeah, in the
Obama.
In Africa, the Ebola virus, yeah.
And they had doctors they had brought here or something that were contaminated with it, which I thought was stupid. I'm like, why would you even bring it on this land, right? But they did it and they handled it, and some people did get sick, additional people, and died, but they handled it and contained it.
I remember seeing a video a long time ago, and it's about a doctor talking about AIDS and how you can contract the AIDS virus, right? And they had an AIDS patient set up in a room with something like 10,000 mosquitoes. There was a shitload of mosquitoes in there. And they asked the doctor to go in there with them. If you can't contract AIDS from a mosquito,
prove it.
Yeah. We wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it. Hell no, they wouldn't.
Wouldn't do it.
So the other thing, though, I did see, or I remember I saw a documentary on AIDS, is that leeches, when they would suck the blood of AIDS patients, you know how blood comes out of them when they would filter the AIDS virus out of the
leeches, huh?
The leeches
wow.
would. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, so they could take an AIDS patient, put that leech, could suck its blood, which is contaminated with the virus, and the blood that would come out of it, because it goes through, would be decontaminated.
See, that's obviously the process they use for like Charlie Sheen or Magic Johnson.
Right, these guys that have millions, that just sit there with leeches all over them all day.
They're probably leached out, dude. That's how they
leached out.
Yeah. What do we got, man? We're running through it, dude.
What do you wanna?
Oh man, we got 20 minutes, dude. So how about
food delivery?
Yeah, what's up with food delivery, man?
So I just thought it was odd that, like, right now everybody's getting into food delivery, right? Like, it's a big thing going where you could call DoorDash, or you can order your groceries, Uber, anything, the Uber Eats, all that stuff, right? And it's funny to me because I was just like talking about it with a guy at work, and he was like, "Yeah, isn't it odd that we used to get our milk and our eggs all delivered?" Because he was an older guy, and he's like, "Now it's all coming back around." And I was like, what has changed? Like, why? How did we get away from that? Now we're getting back to that. Like, it's like history repeats itself, but obviously there's different economics involved.
That's what it's got to be, man. Because at some point, car insurance went up, price of gas went up. I mean, back when they delivered food, you're talking 50, 60 cents a gallon.
So now you just have a warehouse with a driver instead of paying for a store with all the checkers and everything in it, right? Because you got to pay all the health insurance, you got to pay all that bullshit. But in a warehouse, maybe you don't have to do all that shit. I don't know. You just maybe have to do it for the drivers. I'm not sure.
I remember, because I've always been allergic or lactose intolerant, so I can remember my grandma used to have goat milk delivered to the house for me. I fucking love goat milk. It's a little thicker, but I love that shit, dude.
Really?
Yeah. I know
I used to have to fucking milk a goat every day at school.
Most people don't like that shit, but it's fucking pretty good milk to me, and even better ice cream, dude.
Oh, nasty.
What? It's good shit, dude.
Do you like the cheese too?
I don't think I've had goat cheese.
Oh.
But I bet you I probably like it. Dude.
It smells like some shoes after a tough game.
So, yeah, food delivery, man. Pizza delivery's been around forever, man.
Right.
I was a pizza delivery guy, and that's another thing. We used to fuck around when we deliver pizzas, right?
Right, the integrity of the product you're getting.
Yeah. Oh, well, not just that. I mean, like, if you had 2 deliveries, one on Casado, and then you had another one over off of McFarland, right? I might end up driving around and fucking seeing one of my friends or girlfriend or whatever while I was fucking delivering pizza.
And bullshit.
Yeah, and they wouldn't second guess you, dude.
Yeah. They were just glad to get their pizza.
But now you got like fucking Domino's. It's like 30-minute delivery time guaranteed.
And you could watch it. You could watch the pizza from the plate.
They're fucking tracking everything.
They're tracking everything.
Tracking everything, dude. So that leeway's not there anymore. But I don't know. What you get anything delivered to the house?
Well, Amazon, yeah. I mean, who doesn't use Amazon anymore?
Oh, I shop Amazon all the time.
It's just, and I've only used it for certain things, but it's like when I've used it, it's been on the, on the money. And if you don't like it and want to return it, they come and pick it up. No questions asked. Like I pulled shit out of the box and wrapped, put it up, and been like, no. Put it back in the box just as best I could. They pick it up, no questions asked. So
yeah, it's good shit, dude.
That's what they made their money on. Like that was the return policy. And it's like, so for every one of the Amazon facilities that we've installed or I've inspected, we built return centers like boom, boom, boom. And now they're going for the whole fresh food thing. We're turning these warehouses into giant refrigerators, and they're guaranteeing you, and like within an hour, you'll have whatever produce you need within an hour. Yeah. And so they're having to put them in all these local places, so people can get there.
I dig it, dude. And part of the big thing that's coming that's just in the works right now, but is the drones. The drones are going to be flying shit all over the place here pretty soon, dude.
Yeah, that'll be the new thing. I had a guy, my old neighbor used to have a drone. He'd fly it around at night and this and that, and it had a camera on it. And I was like, dude, don't be flying that fucking drone over my house. I was like,
well, dude, I've seen
it's going to disappear. I can tell you that.
They take a 50-pound package.
Mm-hmm.
It's 50 pounds, dude. And they fucking fly it from like San Diego to Santa Barbara.
Man, that's far.
You have to have this pad. They have a Amazon pad that they have.
A helical pad, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it is. This fucking drone that's like fucking 6 feet, dude. And, all the way around. Fucking carry 50 pounds. I'm surprised. I bet you drug dealers are doing that, dude.
Yeah, welcome to the border. I don't know. We can build a wall, but they'll probably be flying drones over.
That's what I'm saying, dude. What better way to deliver drugs than to fly?
But you can detect drones, right? Any kind of power source.
At an altitude, though,
Anything above ground you can detect. Luckily, the Earth is an insulator where if you're running tunnels, you can't detect that always. So,
dude, but let's say I'm a drug dealer, dude. What better way to deliver drugs than to fucking fly a drone?
Yes, except now I think that maybe that's why they're making you register when you buy them, because they make you register when you buy a drone now that's over a certain size. You have to register when you buy it right there, like you're buying a gun.
I've seen those drones too that they hooked fucking 9mm up to.
Oh yeah, and shooting with them, fine.
Yeah, and
dude,
I mean, it has. You could tell the repercussion after it shoots. The drone readjusts where it was.
Right.
And it hit that fucking target
each time.
Dead center every fucking time, man. The whole clip, I was just like, holy shit, this fucking drone shit's for real.
But they're easy to shoot out of the sky. It just takes a shotgun.
Yeah, but if you want to go kill somebody, dude, I mean, fucking, you're out in your backyard swimming, some dude flies a drone over, fucking
tap, tap, tap.
Or there's a flamethrower one too.
Oh yeah.
That fucker's crazy, dude.
I hate thinking about that.
Go burn somebody's house down. Just fucking fly your drone over there.
Yeah, and then you just fly it right in and burns the evidence. So.
Oh, dude. That's some crazy shit, man.
Right.
That's what technology's bringing us, man.
Well, yeah, and it's scary because, somebody out there can make their own or look it up on YouTube on how to do it. And
well, at first when they came out with these self-driving cars and shit, I was kind of butthurted about it because I like driving. I mean, driving's cool sometimes, but yesterday, like, my car does assisted driving already. So basically, I just got to keep it in between the lines. It does the starting, the stopping, how fast you're going. It does all that shit by itself. But how great would it be, like, you taking a trip to L.A., you just put in your coordinates and the fucking car takes you there.
Problem is people can hack into all that bullshit. They can hack into these cars now and make them, because of just the simple stuff you have.
Yeah.
They're able to hack in this. I mean, they just totally did where this guy could make a car just make a hard left out of nowhere. Like, and it's like, how, and they don't even have the full driving, that capability yet. But he can hack into it and make it do anything. You can turn on the windshield wipers, do whatever, because they all have the Wi-Fi. They all have some sort of computer system
Well, I'm sure your truck has it. You can start it in your house. It warms up for you. So when you're ready to go in the morning, truck's warmed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering are they stealing cars like that now? They just fucking start them up with the hack and then fucking take off?
Probably. I mean, I know they were stealing cars like that where you just start them and then they know they were started and run in your driveway. People would sit out there at 5 in the morning. I had an old neighbor had a car stolen that way, and apparently the guy was just sitting there waiting because he did it every day.
Yeah.
Walked in the house, he got in the truck or whatever, and boom, was gone.
You see, I always let my dogs out too. Big Boy's gone now, but I still let the dogs out when I warm the car up. So if anybody comes up there,
yeah, on the cord, it's nice.
Yeah, dude, I take it for granted. I do, because it's fucking living in a court's a different life than fucking being on we lived on a fast street before, dude. And it's completely different.
Yeah, it's tough for kids to play in the driveway or whatever, out front. And out here, there's only maybe 3 people that are going to come and do a turnaround.
Yeah.
In the court, so.
They're all on timers, when everybody gets home when you live in a court,
Yeah, yeah, and that's back to like food delivery. It's like everybody's on a timer at 3:00. Okay, is the milk truck coming or is the bread truck coming? Because that's kind of when it happens. It seems.
Dude, I think I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to order groceries and see how it goes.
So the only thing that I worry about that is when I'm out grocery shopping, is I see. Like we were talking about quality, I see somebody out there shopping and doing what you're doing in order, and luckily they know where it is and they're scanning it, putting it in. But I'm like, okay, so when I go grocery shopping, I buy all my plain foods first, and then I get my refrigerated foods last, right? Frozen. So that way they're not thawing out or getting warm in the basket. And I'm thinking, do they shop that way, or do they just go get whatever when they want?
They're probably way better than us at it, dude, if it's their job.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'll bet you they have some type of refrigerated thing in the delivery car.
If they deliver it to your house, yes. But I'm saying when they're shopping for it there, it's just sitting there in the cart. I see it, and I'm like, okay. And then...
Yeah, you'd think they'd pick up the frozen shit last, dude.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nothing like eating refrozen ice cream.
Right? But it's all like kind of... You can see it slid to one side.
It tastes the same, but it's just
no, it doesn't.
Dirty, dude.
I can taste the difference.
Go ahead and close out food delivery,
there
dude.
You go.
How about opioids? So this is the second time in 6 months that I've had to quit taking pills, dude. So I'm gonna go through withdrawals and all that kind of shit again, and it's what keeps people on the streets, man. And it's not. It is hard for a couple days, man. You get the shakes, involuntary muscle spasms, fucking sweats, hot, cold. You can't sleep when you want to. I remember I drank a fucking cup of tequila.
Yeah, full glass.
I drank a full glass of tequila, dude, and I was like, I'm gonna knock out because I drank it.
Right, it's gonna help.
Nope, I got fucking drunk. And then about an hour later, I drank another glass, and then I knocked out. I was fucking...
At any point then were you like on the phone being like, okay, where can I find some? Because once you start drinking, maybe...
No, because for me...
That's good.
For me, when you quit, you quit. You know what I mean? And that's why I do the cold turkey method. Like I said, this morning, I took my last pill this morning, so I'm sure by tomorrow morning I'll start feeling a little sick and stuff, and then probably Monday night, Tuesday night, I'll have bad nights, but...
Some nightmares, shit like that,
Dude, I don't even remember sleeping, you may sleep an hour or two or whatever. I look run down like you asked me if I had a black eye or something, but it's just fucking, because I've been weaning off of them. Go from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 pill, and then I'm done, that kind of thing. But it can be done, man. I mean, you can change your life. I don't care what your addiction is, man. You lived a life without it before,
Sure.
And yeah, I'm gonna be hurt. They just found out I have a hole in my shoulder. MRI confirmed it. I need a surgery, which I've been telling them for 2 years. But I know why they don't want to give me an MRI is because now they have proof that I need a surgery.
Right.
So now they're gonna have to come out of pocket 150, 200 grand, whatever it is to do this.
Get it done. Yeah.
That's why they're holding off. I do hate them for it, because if I just went to Kaiser, I probably would have had a surgery within 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And recovery would have been better. But they push the pills on you, and you get addicted to them. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You take them for so long. The first time I was taking them 6 years, and I quit, and that was tough. This time I've been taking them about 6 months. and I don't think it's going to be as tough as it was last time. But
No, you know what you're going through or going to go through.
what
you
to
know,
when to anticipate?
what to
Dave.
anticipate and how to get through it, right? Because you've gotten through it before, so you know what it's going to take to get through it.
And I think because it's for my job. I got to keep my job. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't want to lose my job, and that's my reason to get clean, to be good, and not take other drugs. Because other drugs, look at weed's free. I mean, not free. Well, most of the time you can get weed from anybody. Right.
Yeah.
It's not that it's free, but it's legal now in California.
Yeah, they're growing it. They don't have to make it chemically.
Yeah, I mean, you can fucking go to almost anywhere and buy weed now.
Right.
Or some form of weed, shatter, fucking keef, dabs.
Yeah, all the different products they're making now.
The vape pens, all that kind of shit. So, I mean, there's an abundance of other forms of painkiller out there, but unfortunately in my job, I can't use weed. So, that's one thing I'm looking forward to get a new job is then I won't be tested and I can use some of the herbals instead of fucking pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. And the CBDs are pretty expensive on some of them. Like some of the oils and creams that are supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah.
They're really pricey. I mean, I couldn't imagine. You're not going to get a prescription for that yet. But apparently they work pretty good for some of the people I talked to that he told me that like, in his knees, because you can put it right there and it absorbs right there. He said, like, in his back, he's got too much, and he's not even fat, but he's like, there's too much skin. It doesn't actually reach my pain. He's like, but when I put it directly on my knee, he's like, it works wonders. And he orders it off Amazon, of course.
Well, you got to think, when you're growing a CBD strand of weed, right? It may not, it's going to take up just as much room as a fucking sativa or an indica with THC in it. But you're not going to get that yield. You're not going to get that money out of it,
right?
Plant-wise. So that's why CBD's got to go up in price. Yeah, I mean
because I didn't realize there was. I thought they just could take and extract it from whatever original plant.
They grow just straight medicinal plants like that. They're like hemp. They won't even get you high, but they hold CBDs.
Oh, okay.
And then there are some hybrid plants that carry both, but you'll have like a 17% THC and like 4% CBD. But they're super good at it, man. Like I told you the conversation with my dad where he's telling me that fucking smoking weed now isn't nothing like it was back in the 60s.
Right.
And dude, it's like...
Technology has worked for some people.
Yes, man. I'm like, dude, the science proves it, Dad. Like the shit they grow now, they get like 60% strands of THC.
Yeah.
60%.
That's crazy.
The shit he was smoking in the 60s is like 15%.
You're right. Yeah, that's... I mean, I just know any part of agriculture in the last 30, 40 years, you think how much it's come across and advanced now with all the technology, let alone now with the internet and everything else, sharing, right? Being able to share information. Now everybody's talking about something they weren't able to talk about before. And then you start putting all that cash flow in there. People are going to start investing and looking into it.
Well, look at tomatoes. So the old tomatoes, used to grow. You know what a tomato looks like. They still got normal tomatoes, but they also got they got those GMO tomatoes that look like a fucking pumpkin.
Yes.
And those are the ones that they use for like salsas and shit like that. They're not using the little tomatoes anymore.
Right.
They're just chopping up these big fucking pumpkin tomatoes, and
that's,
it's technology, dude.
The Florida orange juice. That's because the oranges in Florida, they're great and they grow, but they always get spotted and don't look as pretty because it always rains, right? Like every day in Florida. Yeah. So the oranges you buy are either out of Southern California or from California or in Mexico and South America. That's where they grow them because it doesn't rain all the time. And so the oranges there look pretty. So those are the oranges you buy and eat. But they take the ones out of Florida and make orange juice out of them. Because why? They may have some spots on them or something because of the rain. So,
yeah. Dude, I ate some badass fruit at the flea market the other day. One was a dragon fruit.
Oh, dragon fruit. Yeah, that's like supposed to have a lot of antioxidants or something.
It's like a giant kiwi, dude. When you cut it open, it looks like a kiwi. It tastes a little bit less sweeter than a kiwi, but that's what it is, dude. It's
really?
Good. And then I had a star fruit, which tasted kind of like.
What made you want to go and just buy these?
I did them on with my granddaughter. I had her at the flea market, and then they have these little, I don't even know what they are. They look like little balls, but they're like they have spikes and shit on them. And you cut that one open, it's got like a gelatin that tastes
on the inside, yeah.
And then a seed, and it tastes kind of like pineapple. But for $10, we had fucking a really good time, fun. You know, you cut that star fruit up, and they're like little stars, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
And it's got like a waxy rind on it, but you eat that too, and I don't know, it's fucking good shit, dude.
It's good. You know, that's the best natural sugar you can have, right? Is fruit.
Oh, and then I put Papa's magic sauce on it. And that's right. I got Veda got me a shirt here. It's Darth Vader, best Papa in the galaxy. But yeah, man, I put Papa's magic salt, which is either salt or sugar, because some fruits, like I'll put salt on an apple or salt on a tomato, but like strawberries, I'll dip them in sugar. Or dude, it's just, sugar is so good.
Yeah, I love strawberries with brown sugar. It's like,
man. That's Papa's magic sauce at the house. But
nice.
what do we got left? Go ahead and close out opioid. I don't know how we got to that on opioids, but how about when is it okay to look, dude? Close it out with this one here.
Yeah. So when is it okay to look? It's tough.
So I think what we're talking about is like when you have daughters and they play sports and stuff, and volleyball is one of the worst ones, because when we went to school, girls wore shorts when they played volleyball, right? But now they have these girls wearing like spandex cut off boxers.
Yeah.
You know?
They're yeah. It's like basically underwear.
Yeah, and I think as a man, your eyes are already drawn to a woman's body, right? And that's the thing. When you're 16 years old, you're not really a woman. But then at 18, you're a woman. Or like you said, you were watching college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are women. They're 20 years old, right? But still, as a dad, you're like...
Yeah. I'm still old enough to be their dad.
Yeah, so when you're even a 22-year-old girl, you look at them, to me, they're like girls. They're little girls still, right?
Yes.
But I think it comes down to whatever you feel comfortable with looking or lusting after, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure. Creep.
Well,
if you're a creep.
No, because I'm saying...
Yes.
A 14-year-old or 16-year-old girl, you shouldn't be looking at that stuff.
No. But you could still, like, look, be like, oh, they're a beautiful person, right? Like,
yeah.
Or, you know, something like that. That's not creepy, but...
We weren't talking about that. We're talking about the weirdos, because you know as well as I do.
Yes.
Because you've been in there. A volleyball day is like 12 hours long, dude.
Yes.
You're in there from like 6 in the morning till 6 at night. And there's some weirdo fucking guys in there that don't have kids.
Yes, just sitting there watching. Yeah, then you're like,
hey,
what are you doing here?
Where's your daughter playing? Oh, I don't have. My daughter doesn't play here. I'm just here to watch. You know. I'm like,
right.
What the fuck are you doing on a Sunday? You're sitting here watching 18 and under girls volleyball games.
Right. I mean, it's yeah.
Come on, dude.
And that's where it gets creepy, and that's where it's like, when is that okay? Not, you know, it's.
I don't think so, man. Even if it's this is where I think it's okay. So if you're a 18-year-old boy.
Absolutely.
Right? Or you're a fucking 15-year... Yeah, you're in their age range and you're a boy checking that stuff. That's
correct.
That's cool. But if you're fucking 22 years old and you're watching a 16-year-old play volleyball...
Right.
That's kind of creeper
out
shit.
Of the range?
That's creeper shit, man.
Yeah.
Like now, 6 years age difference now isn't nothing.
But you got to look at the maturity level. It's like once you get past high school, you get in the real world, then everybody matures at a great pace, right? Like you all learn what the real world's about, and then that person is like, I think at that point they're more credible for that. So the age range after high school,
yeah,
you know, can increase greatly depending on what everybody went through or what their, you know, maturity level is. But obviously when they're in that age range, even though there may be some high school kids that have that maturity, it's still not legal or okay. But you know, the greatest thing about turning 36 is you get to date women half your age. So
yeah, man. I don't know. I just think that's creeper status, dude. I think
that was
I do have a
joke my old boss told me. So
I have a set of friends, and I think they're 14 years apart, but they're fucking yin and yang, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They're Oreos and milk. They make it work. They're good. So if you took her when she's 14 and he was 28, that's fucking really weird, dude.
Right. That's different, obviously. And they were both at different, mindsets at that point. But like, and the guy that told me that joke, my old boss, his wife now is like, I think when he was like 45 and she was like 22 or something. Like
Oh,
it
wow.
was really a
23 years, dude.
yeah, big difference. Like they're still married. They've been married for like 15 years now, 16 years. So that wasn't a fluke or anything. And they're like traveling, doing whatever. But for some reason, their souls matched. And
dude, that's when you take off the mask, because the first thing people do when they see you with somebody is like they say, "Oh well, look at he's wearing fucking Z Cavaricci's. He's got a fucking Armani shirt on.
Right.
Oh, he's wearing wolf shoes or whatever." So
Epstein.
part of the mask is your age, right? I mean, that's your age, dude.
Right.
They're judging you on your age alone. But,
Well, he told me that he actually got a kick out of it, but she hated it because when like they would go to the casino or they go to get a hotel and everything, they'd always be like,
daughter.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, it's for you and your daughter," and he'd be like, "Hey, hey, hey," and she'd get all mad.
Yeah.
I'm his girlfriend or I'm his wife or whatever it ended up being, and he'd just laugh because he didn't give a shit, you know.
Well, he's getting the up on that.
Yeah.
She's getting put down on it. That's what it is. Maybe she had daddy issues or something. I mean, there's all
Who
kinds
knows?
of stuff. But if it works, man.
Right?
I think it's the Chinese. It's in the Chinese belief or their zodiac. You know, they have the characters just
Mhm.
like we do for the astrology stuff. But their thing is 8 years, man.
8 years?
8 years. So if a man is 30 and the girl's 22, or if the girl's 30 and the
It's
boy-
a match?
Yeah, 8 years either way, like 8 years older
Mhm.
or 8 years behind.
Wow.
That's like your perfect lineup.
Okay.
And I think 6 years is the worst. That's always your enemy. It's like
Is the number 6?
yeah, six years difference in compatibility.
Well,
I'm into all that shit now, man.
right.
The natal chart, the astral plane, the multi dimensions, all that. I'm
The
into all that
planets.
shit. Yeah, man. Fucking do a natal chart with your old lady, dude.
A what chart?
It's called a natal chart.
Anal chart?
Yeah, I can give you some diagrams on an anal chart. But a natal chart, if you know the time of your birth, it works the best.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if you got the time of your
Yeah.
birth, the date, the year, all that stuff lined up, you can do a natal chart of compatibility with each other.
Really?
Dude, it's pretty badass because it shows you all the good shit, and then it shows you all the bad shit.
Right. What if it says
Dude, you're gonna be like, holy fuck, this thing is pretty much spot on, dude. And then just to fuck with it, I changed the time of day.
to see what happened?
Yeah, and it gives you something different.
Great.
So when you use that name, what's that,
Tick
dude?
tock, tick tock.
I don't know what the fuck that is, dude.
Your new phone?
Oh well, we crushed it out, man. We're over.
Are we?
Yeah, good show.
Hey, thank you, man.
Oh fuck, I forgot where this thing was again. Gosh dang it, man. Gotta figure out. Roll some time.
It's
dude.
tough getting old, you know. So
I thought I saved the video here, but it's in the picture somewhere.
yeah, it's awesome that, you know, Dave got married. You guys had a great time
I'm
up in
super
Tahoe.
super proud of him.
I mean, it cost you $800 and some.
Right.
You got some new clothes out of it though.
I
A good experience at Dillard's.
I spent $38 at Dillard's, dude, to spend $800 at the fucking casino, man.
And you were probably worried about, damn, it's gonna cost me like $6 in gas to get up to Dillard's in Stockton.
Damn,
But you'll go
dude.
drop $800 at the casino. Well, the problem is you didn't play the craps, dude. Best odds in the house.
You know, I just get intimidated when I go up there to fucking roll the dice.
roll the
dude.
dice. I know,
I
it's
don't-
exciting.
I don't know what I'm doing, man. That's what it is.
Well,
I play craps with you guys or against the wall, or
Right.
you know, I've done that kind of shit. But on the table, it's different. It's like
it's
on-
official.
You're on the spotlight or whatever, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's funny is people don't want to roll. Like, they'll go up there and play, but they still don't want to roll. And I'm like, that's why you come up here, right? Why you're losing $200. Roll the dice and everybody cheer when you win or whatever. And it's like, people be like, no, no, no. And so when there's a lady there, though, like I said, she's always rolling. You always let Lady Luck roll the table, so.
Dude, that's kind of sexist, but that's cool. Win
It is. I'm sorry, I opened doors for him, too. I'm sexist.
We're rolling
Ooh.
out, man.
All right.
Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, tell a friend. Put some comments in, because the only way we're giving shout outs is if you do comments. So comment it up.
Right on, man. Thank you.
She's like, you guys are done.